It's January 2026. I've got a studio session booked for the first week. I hope the weather holds up. I already rescheduled once in December due to overnight snowstorm. I didn't want to drive through that, so I don't want to have to reschedule 2 sessions in a row. I got a little sick over the Christmas holidays. Hopefully it won't impact my singing voice too much, although for this song, having a little bronchial voice will actually suit the tone of the song that I'm going for. My objectives for our first session of 2026 will be to start putting down vocals, and maybe we'll even get into the mixing. I have a particular treatment in mind for the vocals. I want to double track the lead vocals. That's where I sing the same lead part twice and we blend the 2 performances together. That thickens up the voice. Then I want to double track the bass vocals and then do yet another pass of adding in some of the vocal stabs. Hunger, it was prevalent everywhere. Hunger, pushed out of tall houses. Hunger, hunger, hunger. Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Although the road conditions look okay to drive in for my trip to the studio this morning, the forecast actually calls for freezing rain this afternoon for my return home. Fortunately, I have a transportation booked, so I won't be driving through these conditions. Sing from the heart, I think, would be the wrong advice for today. I think for today, should be reaching for the bowel tones. Pushed out of tall houses, hunger in the wretched glowing, hunger holes in the hunger, passion to them with straw and rag, wood and paper, hunger, staring down from the smokeless chimneys. Let's talk about the source material I'm drawing on for this song. It's in Book the First, Chapter 5, The Wine Shop. The mill which had worked them down was the mill that grinds young people old. The children had ancient faces and grave voices, and upon them, and upon the grown faces, and ploughed into every furrow of age, and coming up afresh, was the sign, hunger. Hunger. It was prevalent everywhere. Hunger was pushed out of the tall houses in the wretched clothing that hung upon poles and lines. Hunger was patched into them with straw and rag and wood and paper. Hunger was repeated in every fragment of the small modicum of firewood that the man sawed off. Hunger stared down from the smokeless chimneys and started up from the filthy street that had no offal among its refuse of anything to eat. Hunger was the inscription on the baker's shelves, written in every small loaf of his scanty stock of bad bread, at the sausage shop and every dead dog preparation that was offered for sale. Hunger rattled its dry bones among the roasting chestnuts and the turned cylinder. Hunger was shred into atomies in every farthing porringer of husky chips of potato, fried with some reluctant drops of oil. I wanted to explore what were some of the social dynamics that led to the violence and uprising that we see take place in the story of A Tale of Two Cities. What causes a revolution to happen? This prose seemed like a good place to explore that topic. Dickens paints a very vivid image of the hunger and poverty. That and the way the prose was structured made it very easy to lyricize. It's beginning of February now. We had a big snowstorm last week, and we've been having some deep freeze temperatures here. Not exactly the kind of conditions that have me wanting to get in my car and travel over to the studio. But we're really close, I think, just one more session of a mixing session, and that'll complete the production work on Hunger. I haven't seen snowbanks this high since that year, 1999, when Toronto Mayor Mel Astman called in the army to clear away the snow. Who would have thought we'd ever see that much snow again? Mother Nature is finally relenting. It's time to emerge from my igloo and venture out to the studio for a mixing session. Snow, it was prevalent everywhere. Snow, pushed out of my driveway. Snow, from the wretched sky, dumped up on the roads and lawns. Inscription on the baker's shelves. Hunger, written in every small loaf of bad bread. The mixing session went well. I thought we'd finish the mix today, but then we found another stack of vocal tracks that we had overlooked. We decided to give it another session so that we may approach them with a fresh set of ears. The song structure is pretty simple. It's one of the simplest song structures we've done. So naturally, we found ways to add complexity by layering the sounds. Because why make something simple when we can make it complex?